In this video, what we'll be doing is looking at using Linux commands inside scripts. So we've already played about with some Linux commands, so all we're going to do is see how we use them in a script. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is make sure we're inside the script folder. Okay, so I'm just going to pwd and it says I'm inside the scripts folder. Okay, so our first example, what we're going to do is we're going to type nano because that's our text editor, and we're going to name the file straight off. So I'm just going to call it example1.sh. And what that does is it will automatically create a file for me, and the file that it creates will be called example1.sh. So first of all, we start with comments. Okay, so we bin bash. I'm going to put author. So in every program you write, you really should write the author's name and the date. Okay. And what the actual script is about. So this is an example of Linux commands in a script. Okay, so we've got the introductory information. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use clear to clear the screen. And then I'm going to use echo. So echo was the command that we've seen before, and all echo does is it writes out information to the screen. So I'm going to say echo, here is a list of logged in users. And the command for that is who. And then again, echo. Here is the current date. And then we have date. And then I'm just going to put a comment to say that it's the end of the file. So all we have done so far is we have put in some basic commands, and the commands will show who is logged in, and it will also show the date. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to write this, so it's Control O. We've already given it a name, so we don't have to type that in, and we just hit enter, then Control X. So if I type ls space -l, you can see that I have got example 1 and it's read and write. So what we have to do is we have to change the permissions for example 1 so that the actual file is executable. So to do that, chmod 775 example1.sh. And then just to have a look at that, ls-l, we can see that we have got read and write permissions for example 1. So we need to execute example 1. So to do that, it's /example1.sh. And it says, here's a list of users. It shows me the users that are logged in. And here is the current date. And it shows me the date as well. So as you can see, it's quite straightforward to actually put in Linux commands into a file and execute it. What we can also do is we can make folders. We can do some general housekeeping commands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a second file. So this time again nano, and this time example2.sh. Okay, Okay, so this time we have got example 2, and again I'm just going to put in bin bash, so it runs in a bash shell. I'm going to say who the author is. I'm going to state the date. The date actually is quite an important thing to do because you might do updates to a program and save a backup copy, so it's quite good to be able to know which particular copy you're looking at. So this is the second example. And a wee bit more explanation. It shows Linux commands in a script. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put clear to clear the screen. And after that, I'm just going to echo out a command to say what's actually occurring. So echo, here is a directory listing of my home folder. And to do that, we do ls space tilde. Now echo. Now we will make a folder called test2. So mkdir tilde slash test2. And then our last echo, we now can see a directory listing. And to do that, it's ls tilde. So all we've done so far is we have our comments. So it's good programming practice to put the comments in. Who wrote the program, what date it is, what it's about. Clear the screen, write something out to the screen, and then in this case we're running a Linux command, so we're getting a directory listing. Then we're writing something else out to the screen, and then we're making a folder called test2, and then again we're writing something else out to the screen, and we're seeing another directory listing. So what we have to do is we have to write that, so that's Control O. And because we've already named the file name is put there automatically, so just hit enter. And then Control X. So if we type ls, we can see that we have got example 1, example 2, and we have got first script. So again, ls minus l shows us that example 2 does not have any executable permissions. So we have to change that so we can actually run the commands in the script. So to do that, we use chmod. So a 7 will give read, write, and execute to you. A 7 will give read, write, and execute to the group. And a 5 will give read and execute to everyone else. And then we have to put example2.sh. And just to see that working, ls minus l, and for example 2, you should see read, write, and execute. Now all that remains is to actually run the script. So to run the script, we do dot slash, and then it's example2.sh. And you can see here is a directory listing of my home folder. Now we will make a new folder called test2. We can now see a directory listing, and there you go, we have test2. So test 2 is the new folder that has been created. Okay, so what we'd like you to do is create a new script, this time that will display the current calendar, putting in comments, and then another new script that will give you a recursive directory listing of your home folder. And again, make sure you do comments. Okay, if you need to see those questions, again, they're at the end of the Sway document.